video, I will show you an overview of how the workflow feature works. This is the basics of the workflow builder, and there are more advanced videos coming. You can find the Workflows tab in the left-hand menu underneath the Opportunities tab. When you click on the tab, it will bring you to the main menu within Workflows. You will be able to see all workflows or filter by draft or published. To create a new workflow, you can click on the green tab in the top right-hand corner. You can then select a template or start from scratch. Click the Create New Workflow button. Firstly, you can change the name of your workflow at the top of the screen. Working through the page left to right, we have the Actions tab on the far left. This shows you version history. However, you cannot restore previous versions, just simply view them. Underneath Actions, you have a plus and minus. These work as zoom buttons. As your workflow gets longer, you might need to zoom out to view it all. Actions, Setting, History, and Status I will run you through shortly. Test Workflow is where you can run a test as if someone was triggered into the workflow. Even though they may not have the required triggers, it's simply a test. You can select your test contact by searching for them here. There is a toggle button for Draft and Publish. While it is in draft, nothing will happen even if one of the triggers is activated, and Publish means it will. So to start your workflow, we'll add a trigger. These are your existing triggers. Firstly, pop in a trigger name as a reference for it. So I'm going to call mine Contact Tag 4. For trigger type, you are either going to choose CRM or Facebook. Facebook is just for automations if someone fills out a leave form. Everything else is CRM. Then choose a trigger. When you're choosing a trigger, it will show all of the different trigger options, and you can learn more about these within the Triggers Overview help video. I'm going to choose my trigger to be Contact Tag, Tag Added, 4. Once you've configured what you'd like to send as your trigger, hit Save. You can then also add a secondary trigger, so there will be an alternate condition. So I'm going to say Contact Tag 6. I'm going to select Contact Tag. When the tag is added, number 6. Then you have both triggers sitting side by side, meaning that either one of those will then activate the next action. An important thing to note is that there is no time delay next to an action. You have to go in and manually add in the time delays separately. So for example, let's send an email. To add anything into the workflow, you simply click the plus button. For action name, label this as what is actually happening. Fill in all of the required details and write your email message out the same as campaigns, or you can select a template. You can also send a test mail, same as campaigns, then click Save. Now if you wanted to add a delay between what happens next, you would scroll down and put the wait condition in. For example, wait 5 minutes. It is also important to label your wait timer as what is happening. For example, wait 5 minutes. Otherwise, it will just be displayed as wait. The Advanced window shows settings for if you would like the wait timer to run at the selected days and times. Please note that the clock shows 24-hour time. You can also select an additional filter as a particular day of the month, a particular month, or a particular year. For example, the current day of the month is the 1st, so it will wait the 5 minutes and then it will only send on the 1st of the month. To clear what you have set in the Advanced window, simply toggle off and toggle back on, and it will clear what you had previously put in. Appointment time is used if one of the triggers is an appointment being set, and if that is the case, this is how you set your reminders. For example, you could set a reminder 30 minutes before an appointment. Underneath it says if the timing is already in the past, for example, if they booked the appointment only 15 minutes ago, you can select to move them to the next step or skip all sending options and wait till the next wait time. Contact reply means wait until they have replied and then send one of your emails or message templates. Hit Save. The wait timer will also show a person's icon in the top right hand side of how many people are in each stage of the wait timer. You could then add in another method of contact, for example, an SMS. The next thing I'll show you how to do is to enter in the if-else condition, which is a huge advantage of workflows. Name your condition as what you will be selecting. The segments are like a group. For example, if they do have this tag 4, then that's one group. If you then click the Add Segment button again, this will create another group. People with an AND condition may overlap. However, people with the or condition are separate. There will be a detailed video explaining conditions and segments in another help video. So this condition has now been added to my workflow. The contact tag is for. If they do have this condition, we can then send them specific communications, and the same for the no. Please make sure you save as you go. We will now have a look within the Settings tab. You can select options for what times you want your actions to execute. The if condition is explained in the text below, meaning that any actions in the workflow, when it is actually sending messages, it will only execute that action if the current time falls within the windows below. With the if condition, if a contact rolls into the workflow outside of the window, it will skip that action and move on to the next action, and it will just keep skipping actions until it has hit a wait timer. If you change this condition to when, it will stop at that step and it will wait until it hits the window selected below. So for example, if someone rolls into a stage at 9 AM and it's within the window, it will just send. If it's without of the time frame, the window will wait until the start time and then send. Rather than having to set a specific time for each individual campaign, Workflows will apply these settings over your whole workflow so you don't accidentally send someone a message outside of your desired time frame. Allow multiple just means someone can be added to the workflow multiple times. If it is switched off and someone has been in the workflow before, even if they activate one of the triggers, they won't be added. Stop on response means that if they reply to any of the steps, they will be immediately removed from the workflow. Event start date can be used if you are running the workflow relevant to an event in the future. However, in most cases, this can just be left blank. Please note, this is not the start time for when the workflow will start. The workflows only start with association to the triggers. The History tab will show you a log of all contacts and what they did in each action, and the status of that and when they executed that action. Whereas the status will again show you a list of contacts, it will also show what date they were added to the workflow, what they are up to, what their status is in the workflow, and when is the next step for them in the workflow. Once you have completed your workflow, it's just a matter of publishing and saving. From then on, anyone who gets the tags you have used in the workflow will be added to your desired workflow. However, please note it won't retrospectively pick up anyone with that tag. It will only trigger once the tag has been added.